There are a ton of mechanics players waste hours trying to master, thinking they'll give them a massive edge over other players. But not all mechanics are created equal, and some will actually hold you back more than help you rank up. In this video, I'm going to rank the 14 most popular mechanics on a tier list from S for super to F for fail. First up, we have the ground pinch. Now, in theory, the ground pinch can generate some pretty insane power, and if you're in free play, it's one of those mechanics that feels super satisfying to pull off. But here's the thing, in an actual game, the chances of setting it up perfectly are pretty much slim to none. You need the ball to be in just the right position, and even then, opponents at higher ranks are usually ready to challenge or block the ball. It's flashy, sure, but unless you're playing in a freestyle lobby, it's not something that'll consistently give you an edge in ranked. So while it can work on occasion, I'm putting the ground pinch in C tier. It's fun, but it's really situational. Next up is the ceiling shot. This mechanic has become a bit of a staple for freestylers and even what I like to call competitive clip hitters, and it's definitely more viable in actual matches compared to something like the ground pinch. A well-executed ceiling shot can catch defenders off guard, especially if they're not expecting it or if you manage to disguise your approach. Plus, not having to use your flip immediately gives you way more flexibility for a shot or a pass if you need to. That said, the ceiling shot does have its drawbacks. It takes time to set up. If the opponent is good at reading what you're doing, they'll often just intercept or block you before you even get a shot off. It's a really solid mechanic though, and it can create some really insane plays. Like a lot of RLCS highlights came from ceiling shots, but it's not a must-have for ranking up. So I'm placing the ceiling shot in B tier. It's useful, but it's not essential. Now let's talk about the air dribble. This one is a game changer, especially as you get into the higher ranks. An effective air dribble gives you control. It also forces defenders to make really tough decisions, and it can be used to create solo plays, or you can even set up your teammates with the air dribble. You can also do an air dribble off the wall, or you can also do a ground air dribble, usually going for an air dribble bump in that latter option. But the versatility alone makes it a really valuable mechanic to learn, and whether you're pushing the ball downfield, wasting time when you're ahead, or trying to bait defenders into overcommitting, air dribbles have a place in your arsenal. However, air dribbles do come with a learning curve. They require really solid car control, boost management, and practice to execute consistently. But once you get it down, it's one of those mechanics that can really elevate your game, and it's kind of one of the main reasons why you see so many pros doing the air dribble. It's because of its overall usefulness and impact on matches, and the air dribble, in my book, earns a solid spot in A tier. Alright, now for our first S tier mechanic, the wave dash. If you're not using wave dashes yet, you're missing out. This mechanic is simple to learn, but it offers incredible utility. Whether you're recovering after a play, whether you're getting back into position, or whether you're trying to conserve boost while gaining speed and momentum, wave dashes can give you a huge advantage. And the best part, they're effective at every single rank, from bronze to SSL. Wave dashes are crucial for quick recoveries and maintaining momentum, which is why you'll see top players using them all the time. And there's really no downside to mastering this mechanic. It's probably the easiest mechanic on this entire tier list to learn. It doesn't require a ton of practice, and it can immediately improve your gameplay. That's why wave dashes are easily S tier. Next up is the flip reset. Pulling off a flip reset allows you to create unpredictable plays and gives you the flexibility to shoot, to pass, or even delay your touch to throw off defenders. When executed correctly, it can be a nightmare for even the best defenders. However, there's a huge caveat. The flip reset is one of the most difficult mechanics to learn and execute consistently. It takes hours of practice to even get the basic feel down, and in real matches, the pressure and defensive roads make it even tougher to pull off. For most players, there are way better mechanics to focus on first, but for those who have put in the work, it can be a powerful tool. Because of its high skill ceiling, but limited applicability for lower ranks, I'm placing the flip reset in B tier. It's flashy, and it's really rewarding, but it's not a priority for ranking up efficiently. Now let's talk about a simple but game-changing mechanic, the half flip. If you don't have this in your toolkit, you're doing yourself a major disservice. The half flip is one of the best ways to recover when you're facing the wrong direction, and it's incredibly efficient. You can turn a bad rotation or missed play into a quick recovery, putting yourself right back into the action. The best part, the half flip is relatively easy to learn and doesn't require endless hours of practice to be useful. It's one of those mechanics that has immediate benefits no matter your rank, and being able to recover quickly and position yourself well is crucial in Rocket League, and that's why the half flip easily earns a spot in S tier. The double tap. The double tap is one of the most satisfying mechanics in Rocket League, especially when you pull off a clean double tap off the backboard. It's a highlight reel moment, and it can be a massive momentum booster for your team. It's a mechanic that forces defenders to be more aware, and it can create way more scoring opportunities that are otherwise impossible to achieve. But like many flashy mechanics, the double tap comes with a learning curve. You need good aerial control, you need to be able to read where the ball's going off the backboard, and you need precise timing. It's not a mechanic you'll be using constantly, especially in the lower ranks, but when the opportunity arises, being able to execute a double tap can make a big difference because of its impact potential and usefulness at higher ranks. I'm putting the double tap in A tier. It's really powerful, but it's situational. Dribble flicks are next on the list, and they are a staple for anyone looking to dominate in ones or make solo plays in twos and threes. The ability to dribble the ball off your car and flick it with precision can break down defenses and catch opponents off guard. It's a versatile mechanic that's useful in a variety of situations, from setting up shots to maintaining possession. The challenge with dribble flicks is consistency. It takes practice to master ball control on top of your car, and even more practice to execute flicks with different levels of power and height. But once you've got it down, it's a mechanic that can turn you into a real threat on offense because of its versatility and effectiveness. Dribble flicks, they earn a spot in A tier. Now let's move on to a more niche mechanic, the ceiling reset. This is when you drive onto the ceiling, drop off, and use the reset you get from touching the ceiling to make an unpredictable play. It's flashy, and it can look incredible when pulled off, but it's far from practical in most situations. The setup, it takes a lot of time, and in higher ranked games, defenders are quick to ceiling challenge or just quickly intercept ceiling plays, so it's one of those mechanics that can work occasionally, but the effort and risk, in my opinion, often outweigh the reward. Unless you're going for like a montage or just clips, or you're already a really high rank like GC3 and up, there are better things to focus on. For those reasons, the ceiling reset goes into C tier. It's fun, but rarely effective in serious play. Air roll shots are up next, and this mechanic is often debated among players. On one hand, using air roll to adjust your car's orientation mid-air allows for more precise and controlled shots. It's incredibly useful when trying to place the ball in the corners of the net, or if you're just adjusting your angle to make the shot more difficult to save. However, the downside is that it takes a lot of practice to master, and if your air roll control is a little bit shaky, it can lead to more mistakes than successful plays because you'll probably end up missing a few open nets. For most players, focusing on general aerial control and positioning will yield more immediate benefits than perfecting air roll shots. But once you have a strong foundation, learning air roll shots can definitely take your gameplay to the next level. Overall, I'm placing air roll shots in B tier. They're really good for fine-tuning your offensive game, but they aren't essential for everyone, especially at lower ranks. Now let's talk about the musty flick. This mechanic has been popularized by content creators and freestylers, mainly the content creator Musty, and there's no denying it, it's a flashy way to score. It's cool. There's even modifications of the Musty like the Breezy. A well-executed Musty flick can generate a ton of power and surprise defenders, especially when you're carrying the ball in a 1v1 situation. But here's the catch. It's not easy to pull off, and the window for success is pretty narrow. If your timing is off or you miscalculate, you're likely to lose possession or give the opponent an easy challenge. Because of its situational nature and the high skill required to execute it efficiently and consistently, the musty flick isn't something you need to prioritize if you're looking to rank up efficiently. It's a mechanic to practice for fun or for specific plays, but not something that should be a staple of your gameplay. So I'm putting the musty flick in C tier. Flashy, but not reliable. Corner reads. Corner reads are an often overlooked but highly effective mechanic, especially at really high level play. Being able to read how the ball is going to bounce off the walls and corners of the field can give you a huge advantage, and it allows you to intercept plays, it allows you to set up passes, or it even allows you to score goals that catch the defense off guard. The key here is anticipation and practice, and the more time you spend in free play practicing reads, the better you'll get at predicting bounces and making impactful plays. While corner reads don't have the same wow factor as flip resets or ceiling shots, they're incredibly practical and they can make a noticeable difference in your game. Because of how much they improve your overall awareness and effectiveness, I'm placing corner reads in A tier. They're not glamorous, but they are highly useful. All right, now for one of the most impractical mechanics in Rocket League, the pogo shot. This is where you intentionally hit the ground with the corner or butt of your car to bounce the ball back up, hoping to catch the defense off guard, I would think is the goal. I've never really done it. While it's a creative move that was popularized by freestylers, it's often used as a plan B as well. It's a creative move that can work in casual or freestyler settings. It's almost never a good idea in a ranked match. The setup is unpredictable, and there are way too many variables that can go wrong, making it more of a gimmick, is what I'd call it, than a reliable tool. Even if you manage to execute a clean pogo, the chances of it being more effective than a standard shot or dribble are low. And I know what some of you are probably thinking, Dark does pogos, or like all these like crazy players like Zen or whoever else. Sure, they do pogos, but my argument isn't that it won't work. It's just that it's not as efficient or effective as you could be. And it's flashy, but highly situational, and mastering it won't help you rank up faster. For those reasons, the pogo shot goes straight into F tier. Fun to try, but not practical for serious gameplay. Finally, we have shadow defense. This is a fundamental mechanic that every Rocket League player should master. A lot of people wouldn't really call this a mechanic, but I'm gonna call it a mechanic. Shadow defense is basically when you position yourself between the ball and your goal while facing backwards, allowing you to defend effectively and buy time for your teammates to rotate. It's a skill that improves your ability to read opponents. It's also a skill that improves your ability to stay calm and make crucial saves. What makes shadow defense so important is that it applies to every rank, and it's a key part of playing solid defense. Even at the highest levels, players use shadow defense to neutralize threats and prevent easy goals. It's a mechanic that's simple to learn, but it takes time to perfect, and it pays off in every single game. That's why Shadow Defense is easily S tier. It's a must-have skill if you want to be a well-rounded and effective player. And there you guys have it, the best and worst mechanics in Rocket League, in my opinion, as well. I want to point that out. Remember, it's all about prioritizing what will make the biggest impact on your gameplay. If you're serious about ranking up, focus on the fundamentals and gradually work your way up to the flashier mechanics. Let me know in the comments which mechanic you're going to focus on next. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more Rocket League content. I also have a Discord server where that's the best way to contact me directly. I offer coaching over there. See you on the next one. Peace.